I went ahead and bolted the oil pan on. I also made a little thing to hold the pickup onto the oil pump. I didn't tape it because, well, I didn't think of it. Anyway, I did it and did a nice job. You just have to take my word for it. But moving over here to the oil filter, these old 283s had a canister type. It's been adapted to spin-on type. And I'm having trouble of making sense just how they sealed everything up. I got a good idea. This part seals on that ridge in the block right there. Right there. But surely it's got a gasket or something. And surely it needs a gasket here between there and there. But over here on the other side of the room, that big speaker box. It won't fit in the dually. Ain't that a shame? I got a 327 with the same setup and some spider houses, looks like, and maybe an earring. Anyway, I'm gonna take that apart and see what it looks like. Oh, look over there. There's all sorts of treasures laying on the floor here. All right. Well, here's what I discovered. There is no gasket there on that one. There was, however, this gasket, which fits right there and right inside the block there. Now, I certainly don't have one of these, so I'm going to see what I can come up with here. So I went and found my box of extra gaskets and dug through there, and what do you know? I found just the thing. Pays off to be a hoarder sometimes. There's enough of them O-ring valve seals in there to do 10 engines, I think. Guess I'll put them back in the box. Alright, I've got the little gasket pushed down in there. It was a little bit too wide, so I had to trim off about that much. But I think it's going to work okay. And then, as soon as I find the other piece, this adapter had some kind of goo stuck in there so that it would seal in there. This one has a felt gasket still in place and in good shape, so I'm going to reuse it. Well, that answers that question. I was thinking, yes, I need a new stool. But when I sit on it, it squashes to the bottom. Anyway, that's a Chevrolet oil filter, which threads right on nicely. I was thinking it might be a Ford. A lot of times these adapter type things use a Ford filter, but not this time. That's a Wix Racing filter. The only reason I have that is I went down to somewhere, O'Reilly's or something, to buy an oil filter for a Chevy, and they didn't have one, and I was so flabbergasted by that. They said they'd give me this one for the same price. So I've had that for some years. Haven't been able to use it because I ain't been doing no racing. I just noticed there's a sticker in it. I better go put that up somewhere. There we go. I put it up kind of crooked too, didn't I? Right next to my sticker Cutworm sent me. And my other stickers. Some other stickers. Here's one of note. Another thing, I realize a lot of people think of me when they need helpful tips for stuff. When you're putting your fuel pump in, the easy way to do it is take your motor out and turn it upside down. That way the push rod won't fall out. Or if you got to leave the motor in the vehicle, you can always put a little grease on it and that holds it in. Another helpful hint is make sure you have a fuel pump when you're getting ready to put the fuel pump on. Ain't it a pretty thing? Alright, now I flip the motor back up, right side up. And it's time to touch up all those little places I didn't get while it was upside down. Which means I need to mask off the intake manifold. which I'll do right quick. And then I need to clean up my workbench, because next I got to build a carburetor and decide on a distributor. I think I'm going to use Points Type. But I did read somewhere, I wish I could remember the name of that site, something about dirty and cheap tricks or something like that, where you can use points to trigger an HEI type module, and instead of using like a Pertronix setup. So I may try that out. We'll see. Also, I'm missing this little doolally. I gotta find that. That's where the PCV valve hooks, I think. I bought this engine as a basket case. The old guy, who has since died, tore it down I don't know how long ago and was gonna put it in an old truck, which he never did, and never put it together, so I got it. Also, I think we're gonna buy a new harmonic balancer, because this one is the one that came with it and it's not looking too good. And they also, hopefully, if I can find it, put a mark for top dead center there and there, and it looks like it has drifted somewhat. Not much, a little bit. So I think we'll buy a new one. There's that gray it was. Isn't that neat? Must have come out of a truck or something. Also, I've got to put that oil fill tube in there, which means I need to get it out of the other intake. So I think I'm gonna clean up my tools here, so I got some place to work. I was commented that it's the most disorganized workbench in all of YouTube, so we'll see if we can't remedy that somewhat. Well, I went in the house to eat some spaghetti, and a little storm blew up, and went to raining before I get my car inside, but it's okay. Won't hurt it none, I reckon.